As the 2023 general election inches closer, there are indications that Delta State, the Big Hat, will be one of the states to watch out for, given the political intrigues already playing out in the state. With incumbent Governor Ifeanyi Okowa gunning for the presidency, who becomes his successor is the question on the lips of Deltans, given the popularity of many of the candidates running for the governorship position. The candidate of the People's Democratic Party, who is also the Speaker of Delta State House of Assembly, Sheriff Oborevwori, having scaled the hurdle of the court case hanging over his head, will slug it out with other prominent and popular candidates like Senator Ovie Omo-Agege of the APC, Great Ogboru of APGA, Kenneth Gbagi of the SDP, amongst others. Well, joining us now is the Delta State Commissioner for Information, Charles Aniagwu. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Good morning, and thanks for having me. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. Now, just last week, we had a member of the Delta State APC Gubernatorial Campaign Council in the studio, and he said that Deltans are fed up with PDP misrule. How true is that statement?
Well, you do know that this period is the political period. It's just like in the game of football when you approach transfer season. And sometimes you begin to see some of the players who may want to accuse their coaches of not doing this because they are interested in moving to another club or just to paint their coach black. And so it's not unexpected when you hear people from other political parties, particularly the APC, that have nothing to show at the federal level where they hold sway, trying to cast aspersion on those who are making life much more livable for Nigerians at the subnationals. So we don't take any offense by that. We bear no grudge against them when they raise such issues, because in actual fact, they are thinking that the same thing that was done in 2014, and Nigerians were largely deceived. And at the end of the day, APC came in to foist on us what we have today as a country. The beauty of it all is that even those of you, whether in Lagos, whether in Abuja, whether in Port Harcourt, or any part of this country, have actually felt the impact negatively of the administration of the APC. And so when they come to a place like Delta, where a whole lot is taking place in terms of development, of infrastructure, and in terms of empowerment of the people by way of improvement in human capital, we will not expect them to understand what is happening, because obviously they are not used to it. And so when they raise those issues and talk about abysmal failure, perhaps abysmal failure was responsible for the upgrade of the Asaba airport. I also want to believe in their own thinking that abysmal failure led to the building of the best secretariat in the whole of Nigeria today here in Asaba. I also want to believe that in their own thinking, that abysmal failure is equal to the storm drainages that were built both in Asaba, the state capital, and Warri, our commercial nerve center, the number of dual carriages that were built, and of course, our footprints in the sands of time in the creeks of the Niger Delta. Perhaps in their thinking also amounts to abysmal failure. And so if that is what abysmal failure is all about, then everybody will want to embrace that, because we are very convinced that no fewer than 950 roads embarked upon in terms of construction, much more than 70% of that have been completed. These roads span a total of 853 kilometers and more, in addition to 26 bridges, out of which 6 of them have been very well completed, while a number of them are also nearing completion. And these bridges are not the type you see elsewhere, where we are only just connecting those in the city. We are talking about what we call bridges of possibilities, connecting our hinterland so as to make it possible for our brothers and sisters who are into agriculture and other some form of subsistence ways of life to be able to ply their trade and indeed evacuate their produce to available markets. So we do understand that they do not appreciate what development is all about. So when they speak, we will excuse them for that ignorance.
If you say that this development is in Delta State, like you have reeled out, then what happened yesterday in the word-to-word campaigns where the person of Ndudi Elumelu, youths of the Delta North Senatorial District, stopped him from entering their community, and they said that they didn't want him in because politicians have come, made promises, but failed to deliver. How do you respond to what happened?
It's just like those who says that somebody was not voted because he didn't perform. That's not true. Ndudi Elumelu is even one person who have performed far, far more than any representative, not only in Delta, but across the country. If we begin to mention what Ndudi Elumelu have done in Aniagwu Oshimili Federal Constituency, you will begin to possibly stone the one that represents you.
Because so why did the youth stop him? So why did the youth stop him?
Yes, I'm coming there. What I'm trying to tell is that this is period of politics. There are individuals who may just believe that the only way to stop you or to cast aspersion or to put a little minus on you is to look for that very sticky mud and throw it at your white clothes. Of course, you know when that is done, it will stick because you are wearing white, any little dirt will show. And so if youth preventing somebody, for instance, in your own words, or shouting is going to be your yardstick, then everybody can continuously sponsor people to go and make noise. You remember we were in Kaduna, the PDP campaign council, the train. What did they do in Kaduna? Is PDP the government in Kaduna? They came to even disrupt the rally. And so if you are using disruption of rally as a judgment of performance, you'll be getting it wrong, particularly at a time like this.
The youth are members of that community. They were the ones that said that politicians made fake promises and don't deliver. It is not me, it is them that said that.
I just told you that Ndudi Elumelu has performed more than any House of Representative member in this country. Sometimes some of us ask us, he doesn't represent me at the constituency level, but yes, he represents me as the leader of the minority in the House of Reps, and also somebody from Delta. He has gone beyond his federal constituency, both to attract projects. Of course, you know his family. They have gone beyond what government will even make available to them to even go into their personal wealth to empower people, to attract projects. You may need to ask the DSS office in Abuja. Ask them what is even in the days we may lose impact in terms of advancing security. Ndudi Elumelu is qualified to be called even a government. Since you have mentioned him, I'm happy that he's even the one you are mentioning. Perhaps if you mention other people, I may not be bold enough to speak about them. But in the case of Ndudi Elumelu, he is an Amazon, and we are very, very, very proud of him. If he reads out what he has done, which we are very much aware of, you will begin to marvel. Don't take the idea of those who want to take the part of Togri because they cannot win and sponsor people to make some noise, and you use that as a yardstick to judge performance in anywhere. That is not how to judge performance. You judge performance by looking at the indices. And I want you to come back to, for instance, in Delta.
Mr. Aniagwu,
in Delta, where we have a government.
Mr. Aniagwu, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, let me ask, just apologies for the interruption, but looking at the time that we are in now and the fact that the governorship candidate of your party, of the PDP, is now Honorable Sheriff, but some have said that though the PDP has been enjoying such a long spell of victory in the state now for all these years, now his emergence, allegedly imposed by the exiting governor, Governor Okowa, may have created a toxic relationship with him and the others. We know how the legal battle ended up till the Supreme Court, and now some have said what is happening now, what's happening now in the party may have just given Omo-Agege more popularity. How do you respond to that?
Anybody who is a candidate of the PDP, even if he's not Oborevwori, who is even very well loved by many, and is also somebody who has got a whole lot of street credibility. Any other person that you even nominate, including me, that you nominate to be the candidate of PDP in Delta will defeat Omo-Agege because he does not have any records. I'm sure even you that is asking me the question, the only record, if I ask you now, that you will remember for Omo-Agege is the issue of the missing maize in the Senate. That's the only thing you will remember.
But wasn't he
that is
also
in his senatorial district?
Didn't he also serve? Didn't he also serve in Delta State?
He did.
Omo-Agege.
Yes, eventually.
That was in time past. There's no record.
It will be a test for the people to determine, who merits what
he
votes.
doesn't. That he served is not. You can serve without having a record. He has been in the Nigerian Senate. This is the second time. I'm telling you the only record. Even you, if I ask you now, what can you remember? You will only remember that he led people to the floor of the Senate to desecrate that chamber. In Delta, in his own community, I'm not talking about the entire senatorial district that he represents. In his own community, the only thing they remember him for is attracting a signboard for a school. That signboard, as I was talking to you now, is very rusty. He just brought it, say, Federal Polytechnic, Orogun. He's from a community called Orogun. The only thing you see there is a signboard. The school is just a signboard. And unfortunately, he has not even managed to even reprint the signboard. The signboard has become very rustic. That's the only thing they see. Let him come and mention what he has even brought to his community. I don't want to talk about, that's supposed to be the job of a councillor.
But
let him tell you
on the one hand,
what he has attracted.
That's on the one hand. For the PDP itself, the seeming cracks to outsiders, the party has also witnessed, people leaving the party, to join the opposition. We have what's his name now? People are leaving. Scores are leaving.
They don't exist. People are coming in.
To the other party, absolutely. Some are leaving the party, the campaign organization, or the campaign drive now of the party. What should have been a collective mission for everybody? Can you confidently say now that everyone is on the same page with Sheriff Omo-Agege with Sheriff Oborevwori within the party?
Even if I'm in a dream, not even when I'm opening my, even if I'm in a dream, I can tell you that Omo-Agege will not even win even one local government. One. His own local government is from Ughelli North. He's not even on ground. I just told you the only footprint that you can say he has in that whole local government. Even a councillor will help to repair a market.
Mr. Aniagwu, you stated that earlier. I'm asking about the PDP.
I am telling
can you confidently say
the
PDP is speaking with one voice towards the
emergence
of Honorable Sheriff?
Number one, the former governor, Uduaghan, has endorsed the candidature of Oborevwori and the candidature of Okowa as the vice presidential candidate of the PDP. He's also leading campaign from that direction, and that is from Delta South. He's a leader in that place as a former governor. At the Delta Central, where my brother and leader Omo-Agege is from, because of course we still see him as a leader, is from. All the political bigwigs in that place are very much in support of Sheriff Oborevwori. Not only because Oborevwori has been very, very outstanding as the Speaker of the Delta State House of Assembly, but because Oborevwori has respect for every Nigerian, irrespective of your age. And thirdly, in Delta North, where of course Governor Okowa is from. Okowa is not just a leader in Delta North, he's a leader in the state. But in that Delta North, it's more like locked up for Oborevwori because the PDP has got what to show. And that particular thing to show is what is going to further propel Oborevwori in addition to his personality.
All right,
it's not that, like the national level
Mr. Aniagwu,
where the APC is running away from their performance.
Mr. Aniagwu, you said that all the big wigs in the party in the state have supported the candidacy of Oborevwori as
since the court issues were concluded.
You recall that there was a meeting between the leader or the former leader of the movement for the emancipation of Niger Delta, that's government Ekpemukpolo, also known as Tumpolo. We know the role he played in the emergence of Okowa, and now he is, in alignment with the APC. What do you say to that? Because you're saying everybody is supporting.
Please, we respect government Ekpemukpolo, aka Tumpolo, very much in this part of the world because he's somebody who represents a high level of development. He supports everybody who is from Delta. Don't lie on his behalf.
Nobody is lying here. We saw there was a meeting between
apology to use that word.
We saw the meeting between him and the presidential candidate of the APC.
Hold on. In Delta, we are very, very democratic. We don't prevent people from coming to hold meeting with any of our leaders. Even if your presidential candidate want to come and hold meeting even with Okowa to meet and discuss, we will not stop him. Holding meeting is because we believe that we are brothers, that politics is not war. So if Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu comes to Delta to hold a meeting with anybody, even including Sheriff, we will allow him to hold the meeting because we're democratic. We will not stop him because we know that that meeting will not in any way vitiate our position.
Right.
So that he came to Delta and held meeting with our brother, a man that have contributed to the development and the sources of PDP in Delta, and you begin to count that as support, then you may need to look at us again in Delta.
All right, so
Did you see them when they came to campaign in Delta? We gave them our biggest stadium in Warri.
All right.
When the PDP went to Lagos to campaign, they refused them from even using small Onikon Stadium. So in Delta, even if they want to come and use Asaba Stadium and it's free, we will give it to them. We don't prevent people because, number one, we know that you are coming to use our facility is not what is going to make you take the votes. So those who prevent people is because they are weak. When you see people tearing the posters of others, it's because they are not who they claim they are. In Delta, if you like, come to front of government house and then place the billboard of Asiwaju Tinubu. We will not destroy it because we know that that billboard will not change the minds of Deltans with respect to our development. So please, don't mention the issue of holding meeting. Even if it's tomorrow, we will allow them to hold meeting with anybody because that's what democracy is all about. And in Delta, our leader, Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, encourages us to understand that democracy is not war. It's the ability to allow others to have their say while you could have your way. And here in Delta, they return and they say that the front of government house is where they want to do their meeting. We will not disturb them.
Okay, let's spend the remaining few minutes we have now to talk about the manifesto of Honorable Sheriff. Okay, he has said he is going to be pursuing, if elected, a continuity agenda following from the legacies of the exiting governor, Ifeanyi Okowa. And, well, that on the one hand, even though he's saying he's all out for furthering development of the state, there are concerns from economists. Data Fight online is saying that Delta ranks 31 in terms of out of the states of the Federation in terms of debt profile. And earlier on, you reeled out achievements of the Okowa administration, especially, developing the state further. How do you, respond to these concerns that, the state might be broke looking at its debt profile?
Then it means Lagos is very broke. Don't forget Lagos is number one. So it means Lagos is very broke. When you talk about the issue of debt profile, go and check the debt profile of America. Development, the debt you are talking about in Delta is what we call project-driven debt, where we have awarded a whole lot of contracts and jobs are ongoing. Of course, you don't award a contract as a government and then you pay everybody at the same time. We have a whole lot of work that is ongoing, both in the road sector, in the health sector, in the education sector. All these different projects. I have mentioned earlier that we have embarked on the construction of about 26 bridges, 6 completed, and then several are almost at the last stages of being completed. It is money. Any project you award is money, and you don't pay. The moment you award a contract, that contract sum automatically becomes your liability because you have awarded it. You are only waiting to pay. So when you hear of debt profile, it is not money like APC is borrowing to go and pay salary and for recurrent purposes. We take loans here, for instance, for the purpose of capital projects. So the debt you are seeing in Delta, go and check from the Ministry of the Debt Management Office. They are largely infrastructure-driven debts. The only other aspect is what you had with respect to pensioners, particularly at the level of the local government level. And that occurred on account of what you call payment for past services because of our migration from the old pension scheme to the new digital pension scheme.
For want of time, we need to make judicious use of this limited time that we have. I'm looking at Oborevwori's more agenda and how it is going to deliver on the dividends of democracy for the people of Delta. If you could just speak to us on that, because he has said he is looking at a meaningful development opportunity for all Deltans, realistic reforms, as well as enhanced peace and security for the people of the state. Speak to us on that.
Now, one thing that Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa has brought to bear in Delta, number one, is the peace that he has brought into the state. which is why across the country for the past 7.5 years, nobody talks about Delta for the wrong reason anymore. Our brothers have come to become more of Deltans rather than maybe recline to their ethnic cleavages. And so Oborevwori is saying this peace that we enjoy today, and those who are involved in the ongoing National Sports Festival, when they return to Lagos, those who came from, they will tell you that here we have nightlife. People enjoy themselves because by the grace of God, we have peace and we exist as one, irrespective of our different ethnic groups. Oborevwori says he will sustain it to ensure that that peace will give room for him to be able to bring that meaningful reforms that he's going to bring to bear on a number of sectors. He has also said that he's going to sustain the empowerment of our people at the economic level for the purpose of bringing in a much more human capital. And of course, the issue of opportunities at different levels, that he's going to make that available. So to him, he knows that Senator Dr. Ato Ifeanyi has performed very well. And running on that platform and running on that record is a plus. That is in addition to his own credibility on the streets. Unlike what is happening in APC, you can see how they are running away from their national records. And where do they take us to? They take us to a place where people are living in what's it called, urban slum. So my sister, in Delta, they know by the grace of God that Oborevwori is the next governor. You are mentioning people who have not even done anything for their community. What a councillor is supposed to do, they have not done it. You are mentioning them to be the one contesting against Oborevwori.
Mr. Aniagwu, we brought you on this platform to talk about, you know, the would-be mandate, or if Sheriff Oborevwori is going to be the governor. I think we are wasting. I think we're wasting time, especially now that we have.
You mentioned the other candidates. You mentioned them. You didn't from the beginning. You didn't start asking me about Oborevwori.
But this question asked was about the more campaign of Honorable Sheriff.
My sister, I hope you know that I'm also a journalist.
I remember you. I remember you from court days in Abuja.
Yeah, so you don't pigeonhole me to a spot. You are asking about development and what will make Oborevwori a success in the election. And I'm giving you the facts. Number one, Oborevwori is running against a candidate that is not known. That is a plus for him. That's what we call a unique selling proposition. It's a unique selling proposition for Oborevwori. Oborevwori has street credibility, meaning that many people know him and they love him. Oborevwori is running on the performance of Okowa. Oborevwori is in a party that has become known to be something that lives in Delta. PDP lives in our blood here in Delta. Those are unique selling propositions. They are not threats. So if I mention that Oborevwori is running from a man who is not even qualified to have done as a councillor, it is a plus for Oborevwori. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Right.
Right. It's better we stick to those facts.
I was hoping to get specifics from you with regards to his more agenda.
Except you prepared an answer for me and you want me to just read out your answer. I'm not used to cramming. When I copy, I should be able to know how to paste. I am telling you what will make Oborevwori the next governor of Delta.
Mr. Aniagwu, if you're listening to me, this is what I am asking. We talk about meaningful development, specific, how he intends to achieve that, because I'm sure there are a lot of Deltans watching this program, and we would like to know how he's going to achieve that. Talking about opportunity for Deltans, what kind of opportunities? How does he intend to achieve that?
I am telling you what he's running on. Meaningful development means that he's going to embark on projects that will touch the lives of our people, building more roads.
What are these projects?
Expanding the schools. Hold on. Building more roads. Is road not a project? Building more roads, expanding the schools. But before doing that, because of his street credibility, he's going to have an interface with the people, which is what he's doing now. As I speak to you, Oborevwori is going from ward to ward, not local government to local government. We have 270 wards. He's interfacing with the people, listening to them, talking with them, answering their questions, and then knowing their needs. That was what Okowa did in 2014, 2015. And so he was able to understand the needs of the people. So to be able to bring meaningful development, that is the development that the people need. That if the people say, Bliko, what we need is a market, you don't impose another project on them. And that Oborevwori says, beyond the fact that I'm going to expand the education system, that he's going to ensure that you now have much more connectivity, which is sustenance of what Governor Okowa is doing. Oborevwori also says that in doing so, I am also going to ensure that a number of our people will have opportunity to become much more large entrepreneurs. Today, we have over 17,000 direct entrepreneurs created by the Okowa empowerment platforms in different sectors. So Oborevwori says, I will add to it. That is why he says more. More is the acronym for his agenda. Okay. That more means addition to what Okowa have done, I will also do more. And if anybody says he's going to do more of what Okowa have done, that will move in his direction, because it means that it's going to be development everywhere. Because Okowa has done so well that even if you say, I'm going to do just as Okowa have done, they will even embrace you, not to talk of when you say you want to do more.
All right.
All right.
So those realistic reforms,
all right.
Those realistic reforms is reforms in land administration, reforms in a number of our institutions, with a view to ensuring that he also sustains that development trajectory that we have as a state.
This was what we were expecting for you when we asked the question earlier.
No, you don't.
Thank you that you were able to deliver on that. We have to leave the conversation here now. Delta State Commissioner for Information, Charles Aniagwu, for your time.
Well, in any case, thanks for having me.
Thank you.